It's Two on the Aisle with me, Charles Gross, and Leslie Hoban Blake. Tonight, reviews of I'll Eat You Last, Fire and Cellar, Here Lies Love, The Boss, and Nikolai. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Two on the Aisle. Here we are again.
Hello, I'm Leslie Hoban Blake.
And I am Charles Gross. And here we are back on 59th Street.
Indeed.
Covering, kind of wrapping up the 2012-2013 season. Yeah, on that. So let's get right to it. We saw two shows that were Drama Desk nominated. Both were one-person shows. One was on Broadway with a big star. One was off Broadway with someone who we think is an up-and-coming star.
Absolutely.
One is about a fairly well-known Hollywood agent. The other is about a not-so-well-known actor who worked in Barbra Streisand's basement.
And they both involve Barbra Streisand.
But interestingly, they do. Barbra is the key to both. Now, I'll Eat You Last, a chat with Sue Mengers. Mengers was played by Bette Midler, the divine Miss M, her first Broadway, not her first Broadway appearance, but her first Broadway show, I think, in 40 years. She did
Fiddler on the Roof?
She did Fiddler on the Roof. She was in that, the original Fiddler on the Roof. She actually had her own, her act on Broadway.
Radio City.
No, I think it was The Winter Garden. I don't know. Neither did I. I think it was called Divine Madness. All that. Anyway, but she's back. It's a one-woman show as a very powerful Hollywood agent who was responsible for a lot of Barbra Streisand. She had many high-powered clients, and she was a pioneering woman in a men's world. She was also known for her parties. In fact, toward the end, she was probably known more for her parties than for her agenting. And she sits there, and we see her kind of in her twilight, where she gets a call from Barbra that Barbra is no longer going to require her services.
Well, she's waiting for the call.
She's waiting for the call. That never actually happens, but we know that she's at the point now where she is losing a lot of major clients. But that doesn't stop her from keeping her chin up and dispensing advice about Hollywood and giving her history.
And having parties.
And having parties.
And the other thing she's famous for is for sitting on a couch. She kind of sat like the Queen of Sheba or whomever, and she sat, and that was what she did. And unfortunately, that's how it's directed. And Joe Mantello is the director, so God knows, we know that Joe can direct anything. And he has her sitting on the couch because that's what she did. So it's a beautiful room. It's the room where the pool is. You can see the reflection from the pool. Right. You can see the entrance into the house. But she never goes anywhere until she has someone come up from the audience to get her a cigarette.
Right.
You know, hello, darling, you'll come. Yeah. Now the problem.
But you can't step on the carpet.
You have to take your shoes off. The problem for me is the characterization. She sounds like a cross between Bette Midler and Barbra Streisand. Obviously, that's what Sue Mengers sounded like. It's unfortunate, but so it's very hard to. And she's wearing a wig like Barbra Streisand, and she's doing this with her hair.
Well, a lot of women wear wigs.
It's not. It's not wearing the wig. It's the style.
It's not a Streisand. It is not a Streisand wig.
It's okay, but the problem for me is that I never saw her as anything but Streisand, even though that's not who she was playing. I heard the strange voice. I got lost in who she was supposed to be. What she was doing was telling incredible anecdotes, one after the other, like rifle shots, you know.
Yes.
Bing, 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 bing. Here's a story, here's a story, here's a story, here's a story. I never had time to really get a hold of one story before she was telling the next one. They were all about famous people. They were meaningless to me. Most of them, they were meaningless to 90% of the audience because unless were over 40 or 50 even.
Which I think we are.
We're not telling.
Well, one of us is, not you.
But my point is that people don't know who these people are anymore, except for the cult crazy people who are going to come see her and are interested in Barbra Streisand or interested in Bette Midler, you know.
Well, I have to disagree. I actually have always thought that there is kind of a symmetry in some cases between Barbra Streisand and Bette Midler. They're both Jewish women. They're both very New Yorkish Jewish women.
Yeah, but they don't sound or look alike, really.
Well, I don't think she sounds at all like Barbra Streisand here. I mean, I did not think Barbra Streisand
Maybe I just thought Bette Midler then. Maybe I just kept hearing Bette Midler.
Given that she is Bette Midler. And it may be
that Sue Mengers, and as you say, because they were Jewish women of a certain age from New York with a certain kind of accent, maybe that is what happened. Yeah. I don't know.
You know, I don't have a quibble with her performance per se, but again, the play did not hold my interest.
No, me either.
A lot.
It's only 90 minutes or 88 minutes or something like that, I know.
And I like Bette Midler. I was so looking forward. I've never seen her live before, and I was so looking forward to it. And it is enjoyable, and she does a good job, but
yeah, that's a very good. I can't spell that, but that's a very good.
Okay.
That's about.
We have some scenes.
Yeah.
So let's take a look with Bette as Sue.
Gene was an early client of mine, an early believer. One of the best actors I know, incapable of being false on the screen. We hear about this movie. It's perfect for him. The next rung up the ladder. It's the part of Popeye Doyle in The French Connection. I try to land it, but Gene's never opened a movie as the lead. He doesn't scream movie star handsome, so it's the definition of a hard sell. I go to work. I start calling. I'm on the phone 5 times a day to Billy Friedkin, the director. I'm on the phone hourly to Fox, the studio. They tell me no. I hear maybe. Meanwhile, they're pitching it to every single person in town. Paul Newman turns it down. Steve McQueen turns it down. Robert Mitchum turns it down. James Caan and Peter Boyle turn it down. I'm pitching Gene like a pass. Cha-ching! No sale. Finally, one morning, my spy at Fox tells me they're about to make the offer to, wait for it, this is true, Jackie Gleason. Well, this is the last fucking all right? Now they're just slapping my tits. I stomp out of the house, climb into the car, fire up a joint, and drive straight over to Billy Friedkin's like a Valkyrie in heat. I pull up and park right in his driveway. There's no way he is getting out past me. I wait. Billy comes out of the house to go to work. Billy, you're splitting my brain open over this goddamn picture. What is this, a joke? Jackie fucking Gleason? What, was James Coco not available?
Okay, look, there is talk that Bette Midler may be coming back to Broadway in Hello, Dolly. So far, that's only talk.
Or Gypsy.
Well, she did Gypsy.
I know, but that was for television.
That's true. Yes, that's true. I guess I think there's a law that you have to have Gypsy with a new diva.
Well, I think I think Streisand was always planning to do it, but whether she'll do it or not.
Well, we'll get to that. Yeah. We'll get to that in a minute. I'll give this 3 1/4 playbills.
Oh no! It's the longest 90 minutes I can remember, and I think if you take it in 2 seconds. If you just do like 1 or 2 of those things, that's amazing. But if you do that for 88 minutes, and that's really all, and the only through line is, does she get the phone call, doesn't she? Who cares? You know? So you gave it what?
3 1/4.
I'm going to
3 1/4.
I'm going to give it 2, and I'll squeak out a .25.
Okay. All right. Now let's go to something we liked a little better.
Well, but it's
that also
so
has
much
also something about Barbra that is attracting one person shows this season.
This is Bway and Cellar.
Barbra needs to do a one-woman show.
Say again?
Maybe Barbra needs to do a one.
Oh well. All right. Wait, I just want to show this. Bway and Cellar, and of course Cellar is the cellar of the house. Michael Urie is the young man. You can almost see him up there. Written by Jonathan Toland, directed by Stephen Brackett. Okay. Same 88 to 90 minutes. Unbelievably funny.
Yes.
Charming. And the concept is that and this is true, based, it's not a true story. It's written by Jonathan Toland, who wrote Twilight of the Golds.
I like this
Barbra
better than Twilight.
Streisand. Pardon?
I like this better than Twilight.
I did too. I like this much better than Twilight of the Golds. Okay. Barbra Streisand actually wrote a book called, I can't remember. Oh, I have it here.
It was about her house.
No, but I also have the name of the book here somewhere. I can't find it.
Okay. And
it's about her house and her stuff and her love of architecture and her love of fine things. And so the pictures are all taken by Barbra. She directed every bit of this book down to the teensy little bit.
Let's face it, everything Barbra does is a one-woman show, even if
yes,
other people
you're
are involved.
absolutely right. Why should she bother going to Broadway? You're absolutely right. But what happens here in this story is that the young man is an out-of-work actor who needs a job and finds out that there's a job for a famous actress,
right.
and he finds out that it's Barbra, and it is to, in addition to her beautiful home, she has in her basement, in her cellar, a series of shops based on an idea that she read about in some German place somewhere, in a German palace somewhere, and each one of the shops holds her collections of things. There's the ye old dolly shop, and in it are all her dolls. And there's a place for everything else that she has, and there's a soda fountain and a popcorn machine, and and he runs the place. And she comes down every now and then and she goes, I don't do a good Barbra. So if you can do Barbra, you can do it.
Oh,
I can't do
she'll
Barbra.
come. I need to practice a bit,
Okay,
but
well.
she'll come. Oh, how much is that? Oh, this. You want what?
Yeah,
I'll give you 500. And she basically she sees a mechanical toy, and he comes up with this wild story about it that has absolutely no basis in fact, and she wants to buy it. Now understand, she owns it already.
She owns
and he says $800, and she is trying to bargain him down.
Well,
and he won't budge.
That's just one of the things. Though. Every time he waits for her to come, and she doesn't come, and then he's got the
But there is a relationship that's developed, and it ends abruptly. I'm not. That was the one part of the play. I won't give it away how they break up, but it seemed a little abrupt and a little forced to me. That was
the whole
one
idea is, but the concept is so lovely, and he sits and he talks to us. One person shows.
Right.
Often you don't know whether they're really talking to the audience or not talking to the audience. The focus is and he's definitely talking to us. He says, "This is a crazy idea, right?"
Right. And he has a disclaimer that no, this really can't happen. Apparently, Barbara's got some good lawyers.
Whatever, yeah.
So
but
that's
anyway,
the first thing he says.
Just a delight, and I saw it within 2 or 3 days of seeing the other one, and I thought, like this, this little tiny show upstairs at Rattlestick, and then this big, heavy, one-person show.
Well, heavy star power.
Heavy star power, big set, gigantic set, rippled water for the pool. Come on, it's Peter Brook said, "Give me a plank and a bare stage, and I can do anything," and that's theater.
Okay. Well, let's see exactly what he can do. We have some scenes, so let's take a look at Buyer and Cellar.
After decades of fame and fortune and unbridled acquisition, Barbra has a lot of stuff. Who doesn't? But Barbra didn't want some run-of-the-mill basement to keep it all in. No, Barbra doesn't like run-of-the-mill anything, although she does in fact run a mill. Page 44. Barbra wanted something special. Let us quote the relevant passage. I had another idea for this space. Why not do a street of shops like I had seen at Winterthur? John had to look it up too. Winterthur is some decorative arts museum in Delaware. We're supposed to know that. In one section of the museum, they recreated all these little stores. A china shop, a country store, just the way they would have looked in the early 1800s. And then they used them to display various collections. Wouldn't it be fun to do something similar? Wouldn't it? So that's what she did. She built a shopping mall in her basement. Remember, this is the part that's real. Work hard at getting everything just right. The dolls deserve that, don't you think? She looks at me, searching my face for the slightest hint of sarcasm, but I wouldn't let her find it. It's a nice way to look at it. What can you tell me about them? Oh, so Mama wants to play. Stories are endless. So many. I wouldn't know where to begin. She nodded, looked around, and then pointed at the French automaton with the pipe. Who's she? Ah, you mean Fifi. You have a good eye. Thank God I took that improv class at the Groundlings. Fifi was created by famed doll and clockmaker Julien de la Florsheim in Paris during the French Resistance. He worked on her every night, but to help calm his nerves and entertain his 2 daughters, Yvette and Solange, while they hid from the Nazis. Maybe you just don't like the way she denigrates Brooklyn? Okay, let me tell you something about Brooklyn. In the first half of the 20th century, that place produced more talent, smarts, and chutzpah than any other place on earth. The mensches that came out of there gave us the best books, the best movies, the best TV shows, the best theater, the best music, the best grandparents, you name it, the best of everything. And yes, Rona Jaffe, who wrote The Best of Everything, was born in Brooklyn. That place, at that time, was a miracle that has not been matched. And certainly not by the Park Slope lesbians who push their double strollers down Union Street. But does Miss S honor Brooklyn as the American cradle of invention, heart, humor, and moxie? No, no, no. To her, it is the place she had to escape from as soon as possible so she can make a movie every blue moon and live on a Malibu bluff in a colossal compound with a stranger dressed as Mr. Whipple in her basement.
It's on.
Right.
And Michael Urie, whom we all know from Ugly Betty, but also has done several other. He was in Normal Heart, and he's done a couple of other shows on and off Broadway.
So you would give this?
Oh, I would give this 4.75. I
Really?
loved it. I had such a good time. And maybe it's an overreaction to
Maybe.
I'll Eat You Last, but I
think I would
loved
give it
it.
3.75.
I just thought it was clever and
was.
witty.
It was
and
clever and it was fun.
Yeah.
And a very enjoyable
Yeah.
one-man show.
Then now we're coming up to a couple of shows where I saw
Right.
one and you saw 2,
Right.
and we didn't all get to see them.
Right, which is unusual.
Yeah.
But can happen. So I'm going to start with Here Lies Love. Now, this is about a woman who was married to a dictator. No, not that one.
I know. 2 musicals about 2 dictators. Who could imagine?
This is Imelda Marcos.
Right.
And I will tell you at the beginning, at not one point in the play is anyone going, Imelda, Imelda.
Are there shoes all over the stage?
No, the interesting thing is they do not.
No shoes.
They don't do anything with the shoes. Now, what they do, I think last time we were talking about Natasha, Pierre.
Site-specific shows.
Right, and that was all over. Well, here not only, this is at the public, and here not only is it here, there, and everywhere, plus projections, but you cannot sit for this play.
It's
And
a disco. It's a 70s disco.
Yes.
That's what the concept is.
With projections. In fact,
Right.
at one point I was covering my ears because I was concerned about, and they gave me earplugs.
Oh, well,
which I kept
yeah.
putting in and out depending on how the music
Right.
was. But because there's like a stage or a table in the middle and it's shifted, and you have to move with it, you really cannot, or they will not be able to perform the play as it is staged.
Yeah.
Now, what I like about this play, I love the score. It is
By?
What?
By?
Yes, the
David
score.
Byrne.
By David Byrne.
Of
Yes.
Talking Heads.
Yes. Yes. Well, not only him, but Fatboy Slim.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Who's the DJ? Right.
Yes, yes. Byrne, although did the concept, I liked Ruthie Ann Miles as Imelda. Jose Liana was all right, and then of course you had
Jose Liana was
Liana
in, I believe,
was fine as Ferdinand, who turns out not to be a very good husband, and apparently not a very good ruler either.
Well, wasn't he in On the Town, the revival of On the Town? I believe so.
I don't remember that.
It's one of the young sailors.
That was
so.
quite some time ago. Conrad Ricamora as a senator who is her boyfriend at one point and then becomes her opposition. I won't go as far to say he's the Shay of the show because they really don't position him like that.
Right.
And her girlhood friend Melody Bitu, I think.
But the parallels are so great in the two stories.
Yeah, they are. They really are. Both were poor girls. Apparently, Imelda didn't sleep her way to the top as Eva did, or at least as portrayed here. What I didn't like about the play was the fast transition. You know, she grows up, she's a poor girl, and we're rooting for her, and we love her, and then all of a sudden, she turns into this very nasty person.
Evidently, money really ruins these women, you know?
Well, I don't think Eva Peron is not portrayed as very nice.
Well, that's true.
At any point of the show, but here you are sympathetic to Imelda Marcos, at the beginning of the show, or at
I
least
would
this
not
character.
be, but
Well,
that's
you would
okay.
not be knowing her history,
Yeah.
but let's say you come in
I see.
clean.
Oh.
She's portrayed well.
Okay, gotcha. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, you didn't like Tom Hanks either because you knew his
Well,
history.
I have a strong political feeling
yes,
about things.
I
I
know
wouldn't
that.
see Evita the first time because it was a musical about a dead dictator's wife,
Right.
and I thought, I don't need that.
Right.
I did see it the second time, I have
Okay.
to say. So.
But the change is very abrupt. You're thinking, how did she become this horrible person? And you walk away from the show, and you still don't know. You know, at one point she is turning. You know, she's this poor girl who is a beauty contestant, and you think she's having this what seems to be a fairy tale romance at first. You know, he's a upper class, and he's trying to mold her, and then turns out he's cheating on her, and she ends up trying to bribe and then threatening one of her girlhood friends, etc. You know, the bottom line is the Marcoses were not nice people,
Yeah,
and the musical is not
care,
afraid
you
to
know.
show it. Well,
I didn't see it for a very specific reason. I can't stand for
Right.
90 minutes.
yeah,
And that's what was necessary for that show. And
absolutely.
it's unfortunate. And some of the site-specific things, like Sleep No More, which is in the hotel and requires walking around and
Right.
standing, I can't do that. So
Right.
there are shows that for people who are less able than other people are just not, that's not going to be one that I get to see.
no,
You know?
it's you have to be willing to stand. Is it worth it? I thought it was.
I thought there were
And-
seats, though. They just weren't going to give me one. I mean,
No, there were no seats.
there were no seats. I
Maybe
misunderstood.
if you wanted to, maybe they could put you up. I think
Yeah,
there was a balcony,
but-
maybe. And I
But
think
that
even there
wouldn't give you
people
the
were
full
sta-
experience.
No,
That was what they
it
said.
wouldn't. I mean, at
right.
the end of the show, you do get to sit down briefly, but you're going to be moving around, and that's part of the experience. And you know, again, I'm no fan of Imelda, but I did enjoy this show, and I would give it 3.5 to 3 1/4.
Well, that's pretty
Playbills.
good.
Yeah. 3.75.
I got carried away with this Russian theme that we did on the last show, and I went to yet another one. This one is called Nikolai and the Others. Now, the others are the more important people. The others are two of the world's most famous, what they call monstres sacrés, which means sacred monsters, and those are George Balanchine and Sergei. I'm giving them the wrong name.
George
I can't-
Balanchine, the choreographer.
George Balanchine, the choreographer, and Igor Stravinsky, the composer. And this is an apocryphal story written by Richard Nelson, beautifully imagined by him, that takes place just before the opening of his Orpheus in 1948, when Orpheus was done here in America. It was the initiation of the American Ballet Theater, actually. So all of this stuff is going on. Maria Tallchief is at that
So
time.
this is kind of a
married-
backstage show.
it's not even it's a backstage tale, but it takes place in Connecticut, and it's on this wonderful, and again we get Chekhovy, and it's in this wonderful Connecticut shabby chic kind of home where there are bunches of people, and they immediately say, Natalia, get this, and Natova, get that, and you wait for the samovar to come out, and it's just, and they're having lunch, and everybody's setting the table, the women are all setting the table, and the men are talking and smoking, everybody's smoking, and you see Michael Cerveris with hair, looking exactly like Balanchine, which is amazing because when he went a different way, he looked exactly like Bertolt Brecht. So, not Bertolt Brecht, Kurt Weill. He is amazingly chameleon-like as an actor.
And he was totally bald in Sweeney Todd.
Yes, well, and he is totally bald, so you know he didn't, and also in Tommy. But let's get and there's a wonderful thing if you're interested in that and interested in Michael Cerveris, who was whose sister is a dancer. I didn't know this. There's a piece on.
Is there any actual dancing in the show?
Yes. Do I have a photo of this? Well, we have pictures of this. He works with the dancers, showing them how to make their movements, and so they dance. And so you have to have actors who can also move. The Maria Tallchief actually has to go on point and actually dance. And then Igor Stravinsky is played by John Glover. So now Nikolai is played by Stephen Kunkin, and the interesting thing about this is that all of these people want something from Nikolai.
And who is Nikolai?
Nikolai is actually Nikolai Nabokov, who was Nabokov, the writer of Lolita. Vladimir, what was not Nabokov's first name? Whatever his first name was, the real Nabokov. And there's Nikolai is a real person.
Okay.
He also turns out to be a member of the just burgeoning CIA. All of this stuff about the House Un-American Activities Committee is going on, and everybody comes up.
So we're doing dance and we're doing blacklist.
Exactly. And you know what we
And how did you like it?
Well, I loved it. And you know what it's like? It's like a Russian doll, because you open up a Russian doll and inside is another doll, and you take that out and there's another doll. And the story within a story within a story.
Didn't they have that with the Babushka, with the Donna Murphy a couple of seasons ago?
It's just beautiful. And it's a wonderful, just everything is going on at the same time.
We're low on time, so I have to...
I show it, and I would give it 4. At least 4. Very well done. Beautifully written.
All right, we're going to end on a very unusual theatrical piece. This is the Charles Fazzino Ride.
Okay.
And you are on, Charles Fazzino is an artist, and his artworks are shown in this bus. And you don't sit in front, you kind of sit on the side of the bus, and you go around Times Square to Columbus Circle. And it's just this very whimsical ride where you may happen to meet someone who's still celebrating New Year's Eve in Times Square.
You mean out the window of the bus?
Out the window of the bus. A
sure
star to be trying to find Broadway who will sing a song for you as you pass by. They pass by this mom-and-pop drugstore called Drain Reed. Apparently there's only one of them in New York. Interestingly, you pass by it several times. Sometimes they actually tell you something that's true, like the Chrysler Building. Some of its decoration, some of its chrome is actually from hubcaps. That is true. Yeah. You pass.
How long a ride is it?
It's like about 70-minute ride, give or take, something like that. I didn't time it. I was actually engulfed in the ride.
You had a good time.
I had a very good time. At one point, you see 2 dancers in Columbus, just spontaneously breaking up.
Right.
And it's, are these the cream of the acting, singing, dancing? Maybe, maybe not, although they're all very good. But it's just the novelty and the circumstance. It's like when you're going with Here Lies Love, the way that they stage it, it really... Not the way, or with Natasha Pierre, which we discussed last time. It's just you're out of the element, and it's
how come when we're walking around in Columbus Circle or in Times Square, we don't see the people that you see when you're on the bus? How come we don't bump into them? I've never walked into anybody doing what you just said.
Well, I've walked into people singing.
You've seen the people from the show singing?
Oh, no, never.
That's what I mean. I've never seen them.
Well, they will only come to life for this brief few minutes when the bus passes. So you have to be there when the bus is there.
We would be there,
Well,
we're always in that neighborhood.
You're in that neighborhood, but timing is everything.
It is indeed.
if you're off by 5 minutes,
no, you're right.
You've missed it
right.
now.
Speaking of which,
we're just about low on time. I will give this. I would say for what it is, I would give it 3.5 to 4 playbills. It's just so much fun and so different and so whimsical and so enjoyable.
Yeah, we were going to talk.
And when you go to the theater, look for Leslie and me, us too.
On the aisle.